Welcome to Teatro Absurdo. That's Spanish for Theater of the Absurd, a program from Jaguar Bridge Productions. Well, hello, I'm Huilo Marvavilla. I'm your hoster toaster, here to unravel, untwirl things that shall not be said. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Teatro Absurdo for episode 21. This is a little prequel, some pretext. I hope everybody's doing good and thank you for listening in. First off, we're going to talk about gender this week, which is certainly a relevant subject in society right now for many reasons. And I just want to sort of put out maybe just to do some research yourself, because I've had different people approach me myself about different aspects of gender. Male and female are the specifics, and how various characteristics or traits identify how one should be because of that. So I think the following monologue will offer some ideas around that. And I would suggest, if you're really super curious, there is a text called the Kabbalion. It's Hermetic text, and it discusses what is referred to as the principle or the law of gender. I think in general, it's the universe is responding to opposites, certainly in the 3D world, to create sort of a vegetated, tangible existence. Many things exist with positives and negatives, which is masculine and feminine. Negative energy is not necessarily bad, as most New Agey people tend to describe. I think when someone is in a negative energy zone, if it's emotional, if they work it well, it's a conduit for receiving greater wisdom. So it shouldn't be shunned like, oh, I'm not around negative people. I mean, that's ridiculous. Everybody has a negative side. And it's like a battery, it's what keeps energy flowing. So with that in mind, I want to just add, the next few weeks, there's all of the interviews, or not interviews, the chats are very special. And these recent ones are very special to me for a certain reason. Check ourselves, because age seems to be a conundrum. Older people don't talk to younger people. Younger people don't talk to older people. Older people don't make friends with younger people or have opportunities. And younger people don't have opportunities to make friends with older people. And I think there's a circular flow in that. So I'm especially honored by some of these guests, friends that have come through recently to share their concerns. Because I know I'm in my 60s now, and I do take responsibility in everything I do, that whatever legacy, earth echo I present as I exit a body one day, that the other people that are still living on the planet that are younger now will inherit. It's why, I maintain a sort of activist revolutionary presence in everything I do, especially through my artworks. And I would encourage those of you that are out there that are younger and don't have an older friend, 60s or 70s or 80s or even in their 90s, go for it. Find them. Sit down and chat. And those of us that are older, sit down with a younger person. Listen to their music. Listen to their stories. So let's do this together. And here we go with the gender fuck. Ciao. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Well, good day, y'all. Hope everything's going groovy. Anyway, am I a woman or a man? really understand what they tell me I should be or how I really am. Yep, gender. My gender is tree. My pronouns are alien, what the fuck, and uh-oh. Not to be flippant. Yes, and let's be gender blenders. As in, does a penis identify what a man is? Does a vagina identify what a woman is? Or how one should look, behave, etc.? Certainly, this is a very sensitive subject and absolutely necessary and important. So for starters, did you know that certain genus have the wondrous ability to become the gender the species needs at the time? For example, there are several types of reptiles that become the gender after, keyword, the fertilization of the egg, not during. And this indecisiveness can happen for up to 21 days after the eggs are laid. The gender is indeterminate until the higher the degree of temperature or something, they become male. Fry them boys' balls, baby. And in other cases, it's thought, in crocodiles, they only lay female eggs. Yet, if the temperature conditions shift, they can become male-oriented eggs. So there you go. Bam. Right there. Fish are also fascinating energy field in their wondrous display of gender. Take the clownfish. It can change gender. For example, if a fish is in an environment with predominantly more females, the males can switch to female or vice versa. However, this species always has the female on top, as in the dominant. So dudes, if you suck at being a guy, as in patriarchal slob mob, you may come back appropriately as a clownfish and get beat down by a female dom. Bam! Bitch, please. Speaking of wildlife and gender neutrality, jellyfish rock too. They can either be male or female, and they can reproduce sexually or asexually. Some switch from fucking others in a lifetime to fucking themselves in a lifetime, and it skips a beat generationally. And bees. So be cool. A species of honeybee is said to be able to reproduce asexually as well. The mom lays the egg and she fertilizes it, skipping the whole male thing altogether. So I'm not here to bash the boys. No, hell no. Yet in this dude-dom world that's crumbling as we watch, there are several worlds in nature that don't need your protruding member spewing spooge to survive. So bam to your egos. Now I want to be careful here. No bitch slapping, please. Yet some religious texts, such as the arcane Kabbalah, speak to having 7 or 8 genders. Now I'm not a scholar on the Talmud. Yet this points to expose a better discussion within religion and gender. Seriously, a short description might include of these genders someone having both male and female characteristics, or one lacking sexual characteristics completely. It is even said that some very smart, rabbis recognize at least 6 genders that were neither male nor female. And there's the discussion within various native North Americans cultures that sex and gender did not necessarily mean the same thing. Again, no bitch slapping, please. I'm not a scholar on this. Bitch, please. Yet I want to open the discussion on gender expansion. Indeed, the psychology that is forced upon us is that one is either male or female. That a male has a penis, a female has a vagina, a male is strong, a woman is weaker, and so on. But, Nina, Mississippi, goddamn. Mississippi, goddamn. And that's simply just not the case. So as humans evolve and begin to unchain themselves from thousands of years of patriarchy, religious script rewrites by dudes, and state control over our sex magic, we can now be, and the list is opening every day, binary, non-binary, gender queer, gender fluid, gender non-conforming, transgender, intersex. And some say there are at least 72 genders in the world of humans. So do not call me bro. Seriously. You can, however, call me bat boy or girlfriend in the same sentence. Okay, I'm not going to list them all, but check it out on Google Spoogle or Bing Bang. There are 72 genders. Get yourself educated. And here's a few. Adamus, gender. People who refuse to be categorized in any particular gender identity. Or, and here's mine, astral gender, a gender identity that feels to be related to space. Or let's come up with some new ones. And this is not to be diminishing at all. But what about OMG gender? When your gender identity is new every day. WTF gender? When your gender aligns with I don't give a fuck. Or LMAOF gender, when your gender seems absurd. And finally, LOL gender, when your gender makes you giggle. I remember I was conversing one day with a rather cool person about transgender magic. And while I am not in this through my body, Audi, I have great respect. So I began to share with this magical friend as best as I could that, again, the penis does not dictate how a male should behave. And having a penis does not mean you like football. It does not mean you need to be rowdy. It does not mean you have to wear a tie. Having a penis, you can wear a dress. Having a penis, you can cry, and on and on. And remember this horrific shit? Be a man. Be a lady. How many of us echo that in our deep psychosis? I mean, absolutely, there are innate manners, desirable manners, of course. But don't attach them to your sex or gender identity. Just do them. And you know what, guys? Next time you're in England, why don't you curtsy when you meet the Queen? Bow down, bitches. In any case, what I want to express here is it's not that difficult of a conundrum, folks. Activate your cool, hip manners when differentiating sex and identity. Honestly, I'm not sure your sex even describes your sex. Although most internet searches still point to the mundane that sex is your anatomy, that's problematic for those with a penis who do not want surgical magic, yet identify themselves as they wish and feel deep inside themselves, their personal knowingness. There really is no debate in 2022. We humans are like all the other creatures in the natural world, except for the mean gene. That is only ours, humans. And I'll discuss that later. Anyway, we have hundreds of thousands of millions of ways to express ourselves, right, Madonna? And for God's sakes, just be yourself. Honestly, read your biblical texts. We were created in God's image, okay? So you think the divine made a mistake? Oh dear. So when the idiot court tries to determine what we the people means, what or whom does equal protection of the 5th and 14th Amendments refer, you think just white men, or it refers to only binary people? Remember, this is a country that stresses that there shall be a separation of church and state. Bam! And religious freedom for all. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Well then, here, let there be queer. I say activate the new church of all genders. May you rise up and up and up. Thus, just as we've instructed ourselves through constitutional magic, that there be no segregation of women or people of color, as the amendments offer, gender, sexual orientation, etc., are not to be usurped by some nonsensical idiot Jesus cult. Supreme assholes, you are not supreme deities. No, girl, bitch, please. Bitch, please. So, my dears, remember, pronouns. Don't stick your nose up at it. Pronouns are inclusivity. They have an aura of authenticating one's individual magic. And pronouns are used all the time. That's why they matter. In conversation, they emphasize a trait, a characteristic, a mode of beingness. And for goodness sakes alive, God is not necessarily a man nor a woman. Divine cosmic energy is better left to neither nor and both and yes and. So bitch, please just don't do it. Assume one's gender. If you're confused, you can ask. You could at least start with they, suggesting an openness, or just use one's name. But refrain from assuming this or that gender because they have nice eyelashes on. I mean, would you really want to walk up to a Komodo dragon and say, hey, dude, when they're actually a female? You really going to set her up for a mean bitch slap with a whap of a 6-foot-long tail. I wish I had one sometimes. Go team, we can do better. Level up, humans. And that's Huilo Marvevilla signing off for this week's Teatro Absurdo. Don't forget to subscribe, like, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight, whatever it takes. Thank you. Aloha, ciao.